We knew this day would come. He has returned.
Joe Marshall?
He is our Antichrist, and he must be defeated.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. I'm Tom. I'm here with Eric, Brittany, and once again, Tyler. Third time in a row, unofficial fourth chair.
I'm like a cockroach. You guys just literally cannot get rid of me.
You actually live here now.
I do. I actually slept here last night.
Right over there.
And we spent all day together. So tonight we watched a group pick, I guess we're going to call it. Samurai Cop 2, Deadly Vengeance.
Long-awaited movie.
Long-awaited movie. Big fans of Samurai Cop.
Yeah.
And then they put this movie, VOD, on Vimeo exclusively for us to watch. Us being the people who want to view the movie, not just us, as in Second Class Cinema.
Just for Second-Class Cinema.
And then they
got exclusive rights to watch this.
We paid $9 for those rights. And if you want to watch Samurai Cop 2, you can go on Vimeo and watch it there.
I believe it comes out for more palatable formats next month in January.
Oh, okay.
I think it's coming on like Amazon Video and maybe Netflix and a couple other things. So.
Oh, but we just could not wait, so we
had to see it right away.
We just went ahead and did it. So,
Film of the future.
so why did we pick this movie as a group?
For obvious reasons.
Well, let's go over
Being
those obvious
that
reasons.
Samurai Cop is a big hit here on Second Class Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And
on our normal
we
lives.
love it dearly.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
in our normal lives as well.
Matt Hannon. What's the name he's going by now? It's Matthew Corrados. He had posted a video recently saying, "Hey, the movie's available on Vimeo. Go watch it." So that's how I realized that the movie was available for viewing. I had no idea.
So
Okay.
That's what we did.
And I proposed that is what we watch.
And that worked out well. And so, Tyler, you hadn't seen even Samurai Cop up until today.
Today, yeah.
So we watched Samurai Cop, and then after that, we watched Samurai Cop 2. Mm-hmm. Filled you in. So what was your reaction to Samurai Cop?
I liked it a lot. It was truly good bad.
Yeah.
Like it was what I want in every Second Class Cinema movie.
Yeah.
Precisely.
I hold that in a very high regard for good bad.
Yeah, I feel like that is the pinnacle that all Second Class movies should strive for.
It's got everything you want when you're looking for something like that. It's got men on fire.
It does set
Couple
the
of
bar
them.
for B success.
Yeah, it is. It's an easy to watch movie. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun for us to watch. I'm not sure how much fun it was to make. Probably not that much.
I'm sure everyone on that set was miserable or coked up.
So let's get back to Samurai Cop 2, Deadly Vengeance. And so what's this movie about, guys? Who wants to give it a stab?
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I'm just going to go for the core of this movie.
Okay.
Core.
All right.
I'm ready.
1991.
25 years ago.
25 years
actually
ago.
not 25 years ago, mind you, right?
Close enough. Joe Marshall has just cracked a big case with some gun. He just cracked a case with a gun runner, the restaurant guy from the first movie.
Yeah,
Can't
Alfonso
Sebastian
Sebastian.
something.
Yeah. Apparently, he was a big gun runner. He busted a big case on him, so he's getting rewarded with 6 weeks of leave with his beautiful girlfriend Jennifer.
Yes,
Yep.
in which we saw him do the sexy ejac on the beach with.
Exactly.
Correct.
In Samurai Cop.
So as
They're married now, right? They're married.
I believe, yeah, they might be married.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
They're going on their honeymoon, basically.
Yeah.
And as they sit on a bench and consider their future, she is assassinated by a young Yakuza initiate, I guess.
Yep.
And then he kind of becomes a recluse. And flash forward 25 years where it's a crazy cyberpunk future for some reason. And things get really confusing. But the important thing is,
To say the least.
Frank Washington is on the case for some new Yakuza murders involving the Katana gang that was thought to have been dissolved after the first movie. And he seeks out Joe Marshall for information regarding the Yakuza. And eventually he recruits him back into the force to take care of the gang war.
Yes, the gang war between
Shinjuku and the Katana.
Yeah, I
Katano.
think at least 2 games 2 gangs, maybe 3 gangs.
Yeah.
It felt
It's
like
not
20
important.
gangs.
Yeah,
at
really
the
good.
time.
Yeah.
20 gangs and about 500 characters.
It spiraled out of control there for a little while. So does anyone have any quick questions they want to ask about this movie before we get into successes?
I have so many.
Quick questions. No, I don't have any quick ones.
I don't have any quick ones either.
Okay, you clowns, cut the crap.
So let's just go into successes, which we can approach from a couple different angles. So maybe what we can do is just say, what this movie did right, and then we can also maybe compare it to the first movie in a way, and maybe go over some improvements that the movie made.
Okay.
So some places where it was like, okay, well, they saw something, and then they wanted to make it a little better. So who would like to start?
This movie is bright and colorful as all hell, and I enjoy that.
High contrast.
I like it when a lot of big budget movies now have that blue and orange look, where everything is very standardized to be as milk toasted and kind of just eye pleasing as possible to the most amount of people, and it makes every movie look the same. So I really appreciate it when they kind of go out of the way to make just these really fantastic looking scenes, like the airplane that was like all purple and gold for some reason.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And like the weird laboratory scenes, God knows why those were happening, but the weird laboratory scenes were like just super like bright and colorful. And I really appreciate that when it comes to a movie like this.
Yeah, it was eye catching. They did some cool stuff, but they just threw a bunch of stuff at the wall, and I don't know if it was intentional for some things not to match, like so it was in the vein of the first one where they had a little bit of technical barfs and color was misshapen in a way, but I don't know if that was on purpose for this movie. I really could not tell because it was glaring in some spots, but I thought that they maybe had left that behind, and because this world we were living in was super crisp.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if they were meaning to do that. And if they did it, I don't know if it hit me as, hey, nice reprise,
I didn't know what was a flashback or a dream or a hallucination or real life.
Yeah, they didn't differentiate very well.
No, it didn't work out.
I feel like they just started using an effect with like no setup or description for why they were using it.
Yeah, they're throwing stuff at the wall, but we've transitioned very quickly into negative things.
I still have success.
We want to keep it positive
sorry.
right now.
I'm
We wanna
sorry.
keep it a bit
I
positive.
wrote 2 things
Yeah,
down.
keep
but
it warm.
Neither of them are really important.
And they are.
Frank is the best actor in this movie.
Absolutely.
And I felt like it was actually not that bad when they were having like intimate dramatic scenes like Joe and Frank or whoever, but once it got away from that, it was like off the fucking rails.
Okay.
So I guess their dramatic scenes were decent.
I thought they were pretty. I thought it did what they had to do. I thought they brought the right amount of energy into those scenes to be in this kind of movie.
Well, for how for the dialogue and other parts, like I felt like those scenes were written better than they should have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I thought the returning cast really knew what they had to do because they've been in Samurai Cop before.
Very true.
So they come to Samurai Cop 2. What else are Matt Hannon and Mark Fraser going to do? They're going to be those characters that they've played before, and they're going to be great at it.
Yep.
I felt like anyone that was a returning cast member did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they made this movie a lot more palatable.
For sure. I could agree with that.
I thought because you had mentioned in when we watched the first one how imagine if they had decent fight choreographers for the first one. I thought the fight choreography in the second one was excellent.
Oh, it was very good.
Aside from Joe, like I wasn't partial to his fight scenes, but like it felt like everybody else's when the gangs were fighting each other, they all felt cohesive and like they were dancing. Like I feel like in martial arts movies, you want to see 2 people dancing.
Oh, for sure.
So that felt right to me.
Yeah. No, they did a good job with that stuff, for sure, considering I would consider that an improvement on the last one, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Making big strides in its choreography.
Yeah.
I would also
I
say...
actually had that as a feeling.
Really? I would say it's way
I
better
felt
than
like
the first
the
one.
ones in the first one were so much better.
Seriously?
Yeah.
No,
I
no
totally
chance.
disagree.
The only thing that I think the first one did better was...
Or maybe it's
like,
because they were bad in a non-intentional, like, charming kind of way.
But there wasn't really, like, any, like, fighting.
No, it's Frank shooting everybody.
And, like, I was going to say...
right when Joe was going to fight them.
That's very true.
Like people dying had great, but I feel like that was entirely brought to the table by that person. Like, okay, now it's your turn to die. Have fun with it. That's what I maybe thought. I also thought an improvement. They did a better job with the sex in this movie, right?
I think the director knew what sex was.
Yeah, the first director did not.
He's like, you always leave your underwear on, right? And you eat cake beforehand.
Lots of cake, lots of underwear,
Lots of
bathing
neck
suits.
kissing and licking.
Holding on, ass grabbing. Try to maintain that frame, please.
as long as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly right. So I thought they improved upon sex, and I also thought they improved upon Joe as a samurai more.
They definitely did, but I find that detracts a lot from the charm of the first one. In that Joe is not a samurai.
I agree.
At all. And that makes it so funny to watch that everyone is calling him a samurai the entire time. And he's just like this leathery dude from San Diego who punches a guy,
flannel,
wears
has
flannel
long hair.
and has a ponytail and walks around in a Speedo.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I do agree though. They brought some legitimacy to this film, and if that's what they were if that was supposed to be the tone of the movie, I think it would be done a lot better than it was in the first one. I agree.
Yeah, I think they. I don't know if it's necessarily, I guess, a success in that sense, but they definitely improved upon making him be the samurai cop more.
I felt they just hammed up everything way more than it was in the first one.
Yeah, which is the danger when you watch one of these movies.
It becomes like self-aware, and then it's like awkward.
And then, oops, you made a bad movie.
Yeah, because like they're trying to get you to laugh like with them. And it's like, no, we were laughing at you the first time. And that's why it was so good.
The only person I wanted to laugh with was Frank Washington.
Yeah, and that happened twice.
Frank's like opening line of the movie was killer, but we can save that for favorite parts.
Sure. Any other successes or improvements? Let's go.
I have one more success.
Okay.
They did use the title in the dialogue.
Yes, that is a success.
That's a success.
Frank did say "deadly vengeance," so that's a success for me.
Cha-ching.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that one. We know that. So are we going to now go down
The rabbit hole of failure.
Yes.
Can't wait.
All right, let's walk this failure path together.
Okay.
And let's start with you, Eric.
All right. Biggest failure?
Yeah.
And in contrast to one of the biggest strengths of Samurai Cop, this movie makes no fucking sense. I mean, okay, so think about it. The plot... nonsense. I mean, okay, so the plot for Samurai Cop 1. There are Japanese gangs feuding in the streets, and they're killing each other. The cops don't like it. They bring in Joe Marshall, Samurai Cop, who is supposed to be a master of all things Japanese. He isn't, but whatever. The characters tell us that he is.
Yeah.
And he's brought in to deal with them, and it's just back and forth between the cops and the gangs. And it's very straightforward. We understand everything that's going on. The characters have clear motivations for what they're doing most of the time.
Yeah.
And there's a final resolution that makes sense. This movie is all over the place. I could not even begin to tell you who half the characters are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, what they're saying. I have no idea. Why it takes place in this weird cyberpunk future for some reason.
Oh, it's so weird.
I don't understand what happened in the scriptwriting process for this movie.
Script?
Well, yeah.
Dude, the ham-fisted exposition of this movie.
I do feel like maybe having a script was probably part of that failure. Whereas, like, the first one probably didn't have a script.
Yeah.
That you when you had mentioned it, I'm like, maybe having a script fucked these guys all up.
This could be, yeah.
I mean, I honestly have no idea what happened. So this movie, when it started, I was so on board.
Yeah.
Boom! Hit
Boom.
the Samurai Cop Sting,
Yep.
1991. We're starting from almost like, okay, here we go.
There we
I
go.
felt
Yeah.
pretty great about it.
And then about 5-10 minutes in, I was like, wait, are we in the present day now? Did I miss the
25 years later.
the text of where we are? And it was, oh no, we're in today. And then during the rest of the course of the movie, there were these really strange like dreams and or flashbacks and or projections, hallucinations that were like interlaced with like TV scan lines on them.
I thought he was watching those things on TV. It
Me
makes
too.
no
Me
sense to
too.
me.
I was like, was he like an actor and
Yeah.
like off time after being a cop?
But like Yeah, that was just that made no, and I didn't know when and where we were in context to anything at any point in time.
I was very confused for a large percentage of this
Like
movie.
there was like locations were to me seemingly non-existent. There was no place to call home. There was no like normal place where I go, okay, I know where they are. I guess it would be the police station. Like, okay, I know where they're in the police station.
Yeah.
Everywhere else is a goddamn mystery. No idea. Such confusion.
So true.
And there's points where I felt like they were going out of their way to confuse us. So like, okay, so Joe Marshall meets his love interest like about half hour into the movie, and she's got like this very stark black haircut, right? And they meet up later at like a nightclub, and she has like blonde hair, and it didn't even occur to me that they were the same character because they don't speak to her by name. She doesn't really reintroduce herself. We don't know why she's there, and she's doing things that don't really speak to her character. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Doesn't he call her by another name?
I think I don't fucking know.
I think that
Bananas.
I think that was part of the manipulation, though.
It could have been, yeah.
Because like she looked a lot like his wife anyway.
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
throwing the blonde wig on kind of.
There were a lot of blonde women who I couldn't tell apart in this movie.
Yeah.
Every woman
Weird.
looked
Yeah.
exactly
I don't know
the
if that's on
same.
me. I don't know.
No,
if,
it's not you.
No, you're a racist.
I was saying I might be a racist. I didn't know, so I just wanted to make sure.
Whoever cast this movie definitely has a type.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Candy Cross is a porn star, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe.
Yeah, so I feel like they just hired blonde porn stars
Yeah.
for everything.
I mean, that's not any different than
Cross?
Samurai Cop.
Yeah, exactly. So that to me fits.
That's
smooth.
fine.
That seemed
Yeah.
to have made the transition to today.
See, I felt like it was way more gratuitous than Samurai Cop 1.
Okay. Any examples?
Everything.
Okay. Anything specifically?
Pointless threesomes.
I feel like people always just, even in the first movie, just pounced on Joe Marshall. Like they cannot resist this guy.
Well, no, okay,
They
that's
didn't in this one.
that's fine.
they
No,
did
didn't.
though.
A little bit.
I don't feel like they did as much as.
I feel like it
first
was just that one girl, but she was like playing him anyway.
Yeah.
Well, no, because then there was Bai Ling, who went in their last
That
battle
was
there.
so fucking confusing.
Yeah.
I was like, do they know each other? Like, I'm so lost.
Have you guys met before? I
I
got
just think
this
of the
feeling.
first one though, like literally every single woman that he runs into either has had him or wants to have him. This movie, they do not.
Yeah, I buy it.
I think that's fair. It's been 25 years.
I was
No,
like,
it's
yeah, the first
totally
one I
okay.
kind of get it.
Yeah, totally okay. I'm just saying, like, that's huge. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like the difference between, Live and Let Die and A View to a Kill.
Sure.
Roger Moore, you do not want to have sex with as much in A View to Kill.
Or anywhere.
I get it.
I think it's so crazy that this movie is so hard to understand with all the exposition they spill on us.
They're constantly explaining things.
Constantly. That's the only reason characters exist.
Is to tell you what's going on.
Nothing develops organically in this movie at all. It's all just shoved down your throat. It's like, I'm going to read you 10 paragraphs about my character. Here we go.
If you're gonna do that, I'd rather read a fucking Samurai Cop 2 book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, make me make the movie in my mind. I
Yeah.
don't want to see this garbage.
You know, something that really bothers me, and it bothered
What?
me about Samurai Cop 1, but it was so much more in this movie. So many white samurais. So many of them. And they all have, like, adopted Asian names that they get when they earn samurai status, and I fucking hate it.
It's awful.
It's so unbelievable. They're like, oh yeah, Takamori. And then it's like this fucking fat, white, like 50-year-old dude. And I'm like, that is not a samurai. I don't believe it.
Do you think they're watering down Samurai,
I think it's been watered down already, but
and then they're making it worse?
I think
Is it like
that's...
insulting to add insult to
Yeah.
injury?
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason I didn't like that they tried to add some legitimacy to Joe Marshall's samurai-ness in this movie, in that it kind of diminishes from the joke. You should either go all in or not at all. And the fact that everyone is like a white samurai dude in the first one makes it really funny because they clearly don't know anything about Japanese culture, like at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And this, I have a theory that like some hardcore Japanophiles got their hands on this movie, and it ruined it.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you could definitely feel like there was like weird anime influences in this.
Oh
that
yeah,
didn't
Yeah,
belong.
definitely.
Well, on top of that, the anime part, like I totally felt there were some real like Adult Swim moments in this that I did not appreciate, that don't belong in something like this. When
Yeah.
you're trying, I don't know, the genuine approach is always the good approach.
Yep.
When you're living in the realm of this medium that needs to be just so in order for your audience to really enjoy it, and they took it Adult Swim, which I guess is going to work in a very like in a bubble with some audience members, but like your target audience cannot be anyone less than the age of 25 for this movie, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like that has to be the minimum.
Yeah.
So everyone who's older than that, I think, is almost beyond that vibe that you get. Like, so some of the green screen stuff that was in this movie was just like unnecessary. And I don't know if that was the first shit or the last shit they did.
Or if it was like purposefully.
Or yeah, because it just seemed like random stuff just thrown on a green screen that did not service entertainment nor story.
Not only that, but like one of the green screen shots was like it was supposed to take place in the woods. This movie was like had a fucking budget. You mean to tell me that you can't find a woodsy area to shoot 2 minutes worth of footage?
Yeah.
For an hour, 2 hours? Like, come
Yeah.
on, give me a break.
Totally.
You know? So easy to do that.
It was cheapening, but in the wrong way.
We could get your camera right now and go find a woodsy area and just go shoot it.
Samurai Cop 3.
You know?
I have a wig for my Andrew WK costume. You can wear it. You can be Samurai Cop.
That's perfect. Actually,
We're good to go.
done. We're making that movie.
We'll be right back.
Hold on. All right, we're done.
Okay,
It was great.
It's been 3 hours. We made Samurai Cop 3. It's much better than this.
No, we're being assholes, but
No.
No,
It wasn't-
you know what? I spent $9 to rent this. I'll be a big dick.
It's true.
big old dick.
Well, that's filmmaking 101 though too. I mean, that's the thing. Like we everybody knows the difference between green screen and
Yeah.
reality.
And
Yeah.
Those shots are so easy to make.
Yeah. And it's not like it serviced like some sort of green screen gag. Like there was that one green screen gag where the guy was supposed to be walking towards the camera and they didn't have the green screen. That was really funny. That was a green screen that
Do you think that was an
humor.
intentional, or it was just like
That was
left in
intentional.
and it
It
went?
had to be because he was way above everybody else. He was like walking
It was
in the
intentional.
Japanese skyline. Like
Either that wasn't intentional, or they went into the editing room and put it together and saw that was funny and was like, you know what, we're rolling with it.
Let's do it.
We're
That's
rolling
something
with
that
it.
Amir Shervan might let past the fucking.
And that
Yeah.
that didn't bother me nearly as much as like give me the obvious like whiff on the green screen. Don't give me like the we're gonna maybe try and pretend it's a little bit
Yeah.
real. That failed on top of some of the other visual effects that came hurtling at us at the end of this
the
movie.
blood was
the
awful.
blood
It
effects.
all looked like dust.
It was not even like funny bad.
No.
It was just like rushed plugins.
Bad.
So let's think about like the presence of blood in Samurai Cop 1. That's not really that bloody of a movie.
No,
Well, I mean,
but they used it right.
That had some pretty bad blood too, though.
Yeah.
Like the
like paintballs.
paintball
paintballs,
marinara sauce.
yeah.
But that's okay though.
Marinara
that's,
gun.
That's okay. Doing it this way is not okay. Like doing like there in Samurai Cop 1 there were parts where you didn't even see the bullet wounds. You didn't even see that's okay to do. This one, nobody had any bullet wounds. Nobody had any knife wounds. They all did it in After Effects or Cinema 4D. It was all
They just had blood
all
smoke
in
coming out of
post.
their chest.
It was all in post.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one really wasn't. So
Yeah, I can appreciate a practical effect regardless of how good it is.
Yeah, or
generally.
Just don't do it at all.
Or just don't do it.
That's fine,
Or-
too.
Honestly, I would have been so much happier because there were a couple things where they definitely forced it into the shot. Like forced it, and it was like I didn't need to see it. Didn't need to. You were fine. I can follow the action of the character. And then there was that one gag they pulled at the end where someone got stabbed like in the gut,
Biling, yeah.
and she just kept like blood just kept pouring out of her in like a wide shot while she's continuing to like talk and say her last words. I get it. That's a joke. That's funny.
Yeah.
Let that one slide, or you just focus on making that one look good.
Yeah.
And then and just don't even bother with some of the others.
yeah, because she had a really good death scene. It
Yeah.
super took away from it. So.
It did, and I thought that was a decent gag to put in there. She like really wanted him as they were like fighting, and then he wins and she's trying to like kiss him, and it's way too long, and it was kind of funny, but it could have been, I think, funnier, or at least a little cooler looking,
slightly less confusing.
That too.
About their past history that we may or may not are supposed to have known about.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they try to set up Joe Marshall as being like this mythic, like, antagonist within the Katana gang, and maybe like she had like lusted after that idea. Maybe that's it.
You know what I bring it back to?
What do you bring it back to?
Not to bring up previous episodes, but I bring it back to Fatima, where she wants James Bond to write the will that she was the last
lover.
great love that he ever had or whatever. Like it's such a parallel, right? Maybe that's what Biling was thinking about. Maybe
Wait a minute.
Maybe she was like, well, I want to be Joe Marshall's last great lover, and we're having a sword fight, so technically I will be his last great lover when I kill him.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That's good.
I need to change directions for a second.
Okay.
This movie have a telescope. Had binoculars.
Ooh. It did have binoculars.
It had night vision binoculars.
It did.
I don't think it
I don't
qualifies.
think it
I think
has
we
a
might have broken the streak.
telescope.
We did.
We broke it.
I don't know.
No telescope.
I bet it has
No-
one. and
no
we just
Tyler
didn't
scopes.
notice. I actually have faith that it had one and we just didn't notice it.
Maybe they didn't use it, but maybe it was a prop. So we'll give this a second pass, see if there's a telescope in it, and we can keep the streak going.
Although it did feel like that Tommy Wiseau's character, like his lair or whatever, it felt like a submarine. So they probably have a fucking periscope down there.
Which is almost a telescope.
So that brings me to another negative, but it's really, I don't know what it is because I fucking hate Tommy Wiseau so much. Like, he bothers me fucking to no end. He's like a drunk toddler, like special ed hamburglar in this movie, and it's the fucking weirdest thing. But simultaneously, it was one of the funniest things about
Yes,
this.
it was, yeah.
And I don't know how to feel about it.
You know what? I have a theory.
Okay.
I think Tommy Wiseau treated this as if it was an actual acting gig, and that's why it was really funny, because that's what everyone in Samurai Cop 1 did.
I also have a theory, and it's that they didn't even write lines for him. They were just like, go with it. Do what's in your heart.
I think he showed up to what my theory, if I can also have one,
I have a theory.
I think he just showed up ready to do his job in a situation in which he was briefed very well, and they also did a good job at directing him for Tommy Wiseau to be directed in that way. Worked for I think they got exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
I feel like he took it to 11
He did.
on everything he did.
And I think that was by design. I think they went, Tommy, take it to 11 for us. All right?
This one
We're going to
goes
read you
to
your
11.
lines, and you're just going to repeat them back as we read them to you. But I liked Tommy Wiseau in this. I thought he was very funny.
I thought he fit
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
And he had some good lines. He had some really good lines.
Not understand a word he said.
Yeah, he blabbed for about 5 minutes, and it washed over
Dude,
me.
he was just
He talks like he's on all the drugs that aren't popular anymore. Like he just takes barbiturates
like he
and lays in a
can't
bathtub.
even move his mouth. I don't know where he's from.
There was just this one line
or
that
what
really
his story is.
What's the one line?
I just wanted to really. I died laughing. So it was like, no one will stop me, Joe. Right? He always said Joe.
He used his name a lot.
I would love to count how many times he said
So he
it.
said, no one will stop me, Joe, but myself, Joe, and I will not stop myself, Joe.
Oh my god.
I was like, I can't believe they left that in.
Oh, yeah.
What about the part where he was like, "It's stained red, stained red, Joe."
Oh, hi, Joe.
Yeah. We got an, oh, hi, Joe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It was-
No, it was probably we should have brought this up during successes because that was a good part.
Yeah. I was expecting to come to this movie like Tommy Wiseau would have been my least favorite part. And
Yeah.
he was, aside from the returning cast members, probably the best part.
I
Agreed.
think he was my least favorite part and my favorite part at the same time.
Well, I mean, how long was he honestly on the screen for?
2-3 minutes.
I was gonna say
it
maybe
was
5.
always terrible though.
About 5 minutes. So I was hoping that they would really not like throw the fact that they got him throughout this whole movie a ton. They touched on it just enough. It was they did it right. They knew what they wanted to do and they did it. So as far as some setbacks, I think from the first one, one thing that this movie totally didn't do, and there's kind of two things, is the goon game was so weak.
Oh, yeah. I have that as a note.
No goons.
They were all blonde.
They were
bimbos.
all idiot. And the first one was just, they were vast amounts, as far as the eye could
So
see.
many goons.
That
So many goons.
you could just love, and you could do it. And something that we love about the first movie is like is in all the bad guys, they're such a tight unit. Anytime, like, everyone's always yelling to leave him alone. Like, leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Everyone needs to leave him alone. Not one leave him alone in this movie. Not one.
Not shoot. No shoot. Shoot them either.
Shoot him.
No shoot 'ems, no leave malones.
Recycling the same dialogue like 5 times.
Well, it's because
But I feel like that just goes to show that people take something different out of the movie when they watch it. Like,
Yeah.
the reasons we appreciate it clearly are not the reasons that somebody else would appreciate it.
I wonder if that was something that Amir Shervan contributed to the movie. I wonder if it was a perspective like that they were such a tight, close gang, and that was their way of life to protect one another and against this samurai cop Joe Marshall. I thought that was really cool. It kind of made me empathize a little bit with the bad guys. I'm like, man, they care about each other so much more than our good guys do for some reason. This is strange. And I always liked it, and it just completely void from this movie.
Yeah, I mean, most of the characters are wearing ninja hoods. They're faceless. We have no attachment to them as people.
Yep. Bummer.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any setbacks or failures?
I have a question.
Okay, we can go do some
for
questions.
It's really... I have a lot of questions, but
Perfect.
the first one was...
Question 1.
Oh, yeah, okay, so the treaty that they were kept talking about, it's called, like, the Inter-Universal Treaty.
Okay.
Yeah. What
That's a question.
was
in
that?
itself. They never went into, like, what it was about or what it entailed, who broke it.
I feel like it was supposed to be peace amongst the gangs.
It was just a buzzword that they
Yeah.
threw out there when they were trying to, like, exposition us to death.
Yeah. But they also
Inter-Universal Galactic Treaty.
Yeah, they threw that in like maybe 4 minutes into the movie. I was like, what happened here?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, that's why I was so confused, I guess, because I didn't know if we were still in 91 or if we had then jumped forward in time and we were in an alternate version of present day.
Yeah,
Is that what-
that seems to be the idea here.
Yeah, which
But-
that part with all these explanations going on, I feel like that did not get explained.
Not for a second. I mean, for all I knew, this movie took place in like here's what I originally thought was going to be happening. I thought it was going to be in like 2090, and like Joe Marshall would come out of like a cryogenic chamber or something.
Ooh,
Like that's what I thought. Given how futuristic
That'd have been sick.
these scenes looked, that's what I thought was going on.
that would have been awesome.
And
yeah, it was
really
weirdly
weird.
out of place.
Yeah, and it didn't need to be like that. That's
No.
the weird, like it doesn't have any bearing on the plot.
No, that's probably added to the confusion more than anything.
Yeah, everything looked like the inside of like a spaceship
Yeah, it did.
or a nightclub.
But not
Yeah.
like a cool John Wick one.
No.
Spaceship or nightclub, guys.
John Wick is so good.
Anything else before? Any other questions? Any other failures before we move on to favorite parts?
I have one more failure.
Okay.
Just the plane scene as a whole.
Oh, the
I wrote
plane
that down
scene.
as well.
Yeah, that was awful.
It was really
Really awful.
it made no
It
fucking
made no
sense at all.
on any level.
Everyone started fighting, and then everyone just went back to their seats.
Well,
like,
there was a huge explosion.
Yeah.
And nothing was wrong with the plane. And it's like, what do you...
I feel like there were several explosions.
there
and It
were.
was just fine.
Well, like there's a great opportunity to use your green screen to maybe show someone jumping out of a plane.
Yeah.
Maybe making an exit or doing something that signifies transitioning from one thought to the next.
Yeah.
That might help.
And they just made it apparent that it was like a 4-hour plane ride, and then these rival gangs and the cops get into this huge altercation, and then it just ends, and Joe Marshall is just like hugging a lady.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's the
okay,
lady he met,
so
his
for the
new-
next like 3.5 hours of this flight, everyone who's like trying to kill each other is just gonna sit here in fucking peaceful silence.
Yeah.
We're really
Don't
sorry,
get
guys.
it.
They serve those delicious blueberry biscuits.
Oh yes, the Belvita crackers.
Yes. Reviving.
So, any questions? Brett, you said you had some more.
Most of them I asked already. Like, why is the Shinjuku run by white people?
Okay. Yep. We've covered that.
I think Beiling made a Lord of the Rings reference, which was kind of weird. Something about the Balrog have risen. It's like, okay, this is strange. Why is Tommy Wiseau allowed outside of a padded room?
Okay. All right. I think
Yeah.
maybe because he's not, really insane. he's probably just a little weird.
Isn't he though?
He
He's
plays
safely
really
crazy.
insane characters.
Yeah, so that means he's probably super normal. He probably just goes home and eats dinner and goes to bed.
No, I've read
That's
The Disaster Artist. That can't possibly be true.
I can't believe that he's just a normal human.
What if this is just a big performance piece, though?
Then it's
Could be.
amazing.
That'd be crazy.
Right? It could happen.
Andy Kaufman
Like
2.0.
I was gonna say, like Kaufman caliber.
And then we find out, like, from 9 to 5, he was just a regular businessman every single day.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
He would, like, tuck his hair into the back of his shirt, and he'd just be a normal dude.
Yeah, I have no more questions.
I have one more failure to bring up, and that is how insane the music choices were.
Ooh.
I don't know if they were original songs or if they were farmed by the music supervisor or what was going on. What was going on?
It looked like that they were all written by the same dude.
Okay, so they had a dude do them. I would say there were probably about, I think, maybe 8 songs that we heard.
Yeah.
Or 9,
This is a very dense soundtrack.
2 of them I thought were kind of cool that they could have used at the right times to, like, you know, do something a little different.
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't think they fully capitalized, but
Totally.
yeah, definitely weird and not what I was expecting. Weird mood.
Yeah. Like, it didn't... The first movie has, like, that DIY, like, Casio vibe from, like, very popular with cheap Z-grade action movies from the 80s. I'm wondering how you would make that modern for, like, today's standards. And in my head, it would just be a soundtrack full of dubstep, and I don't think anyone wants that either.
I mean, it almost got there.
It was very close, but it didn't have the right vibe. It felt like they were trying too hard,
Yeah.
which a lot of this movie felt like it was trying too hard. So that doesn't... I mean, I guess it fits.
If the fight scenes had the actual faster paced songs, like it could have been really cool. They could have had fights to the beats and stuff like that. And they didn't do that. It was all soft stuff on the fight sequences, which is strange.
Yeah. Strange picks. All right. So favorite parts then.
Yeah.
Let's
go.
Let's talk about some favorite parts.
I really don't have any.
I have 2 really good ones, I thought.
All right.
Both involve Frank.
Of course they do.
At the beginning, when he's first like going to Joe's new, like current hideout, he goes, what are all these contraptions? And then he walks up to the dangling chains and says, "What is this?
What the hell is this?
What the hell is this?
And I was like, "Hanging chains, Frank."
Dude, Frank just walking around, just being confused and saying lines is. I could watch an hour and a half of that.
Oh, it's so good.
That's
Mark
like
Fraser's...
pretty much the only favorite part that I had was Frank line, and it was at the very beginning when Jennifer and Joe were like being all lovey-dovey, and Frank goes, "Don't get into any trouble, but if you do, name it after me."
Yeah, that was a good one too.
That is a great
I was
line.
like, all right,
so good.
that's how we're starting this movie. I am so in.
Oh
It's
yeah.
an excellent Mark Fraser line.
Oh, that was fantastic.
And I had the stained red Joe, Tommy Wiseau line.
Oh,
as
yeah.
a favorite part, but since I already mentioned it, forego that.
The scene of Tommy Wiseau at his, I guess it was his mother's funeral? Or his gang
yeah.
leader's funeral. Just picking shit up and throwing it around and just
That was
destroying the entire room.
Fantastic.
That's what you bring in Tommy Wiseau for.
Yeah.
He's very good at that. That's what he thinks acting is. So he's going to give it a all.
Oh, he
He
did.
literally thinks that act. Like, have you read The Disaster Artist?
I
yet?
have not.
He literally thinks that that's what acting is.
What?
Just overacting.
Just overacting. Like, if you're angry, you need to throw something. So, like, if you're really angry, you need to throw everything.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Anything else for favorite part? We already went over one of mine, which was the use of deadly vengeance in the movie.
Oh, all right, sorry.
No,
Sorry,
no,
Steal Your Thunder.
No, that's okay. I always end up talking about it when I hear it. Like that we look out for those like we look out for Men on Fire, or at least I do.
Right.
At least I do.
I have one other Frank moment. The last ninjas that samurai that he
Oh my God.
shoots, and he's shooting off screen, and then the samurais are flying on screen, dying. Fantastic! That was awesome. I wish the whole movie was like that.
Yeah, like that. Because
There was no blood. There was no effects. It was just dudes flying.
Yeah,
like
it was silliness.
yeah,
Very
exactly.
much in the vibe of the first
Exactly.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they missed a lot of those notes doing this the second time around, but they hit most of Frank. Most of Frank was a bullseye.
Yeah.
He knows how to break the fourth wall in the best ways.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because they had a lot of those Frank reaction shots, those Frank looks. They did those exactly right. He brought it to the table. They used him at the right spots, and the editing was pretty point for those too. Like they made sure that they did the original joke, I think, justice, and that was something that I think everyone could take away from the first movie. Are those moments?
Oh yeah.
And they did a good
Don't
job. Like
keep it warm.
Yeah. They did that.
I mean, we're not even gonna go into the black gift joke.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
I
good.
forgot about that. How could you remind me?
I already thought of what the black gift was. I didn't need an explanation. If you want to know what the black gift really is, listen to our Samurai Cop episode.
It's a classic.
It's a good one.
I enjoy it. Fuck.
Didn't you want to talk about Wolf Cop comparison?
This sucks in the same vein as Wolf Cop. That's about it.
All right, gotcha.
It's trying a little too hard.
That's how I feel when things start to get self-aware and they want to be in on the joke with you. It's really hard for me to enjoy things like that. I feel like when it's accidental, it's so much sweeter.
Now, a part of me wonders, so we said that when this movie first started, it came off with the right vibe. 1991, Samurai Cop, music sting. Yeah. The two of them walk out. They're just discussing a recently closed case. From what I understand, this movie originally did not have Matt Hannon on board because they didn't even know if he was still alive. I think it was going to be Mark Fraser as Frank Washington teaming up with Joe Marshall's daughter to like solve some murders or something.
So Peggy's daughter is Joe's daughter? Are we led to believe that?
I guess that's what they were talking about.
It's like a footnote. She was like, "Are you my dad?" And then everyone just made weird faces at each other and nobody mentioned it after that.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot that scene happened.
Oh, Peggy was great.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
With her ready-made pasta. I'm sorry,
Oh,
continue.
no, that's all right.
Yes,
So, I mean, I think once they got him on board, I think they probably had to have done a huge script rework to like incorporate him into the plot.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering is that where things started to go a little bit nuts, or do you think this movie had a crazy, ridiculous plot to begin with, and they just kind of went with it once they got Matt Hannon on board?
I guess there's a couple things that could have happened. Is that they had that script, they really liked it, and then they tried to force the rewrite for Joe to be in the movie. Or they had a very tight thing they worked on and then scrapped the whole thing and then rushed to make this.
Yeah.
I think those are a couple of options. Maybe I'm not thinking of one as to why this movie ended up turning out the way it did.
I felt like Joe's character in this was so not true to his character in the first one, which I don't know, like you said, if it was intentional or like if they planned on making a super over-the-top movie or if they just really accidentally couldn't capture what made the first one so great.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is as soon as you're on board with trying to make a movie like that, like you have to do it in a certain way. And the wink, wink, nudge, nudge stuff doesn't really work all the time, which is where this one got caught up. Any other favorite parts since we kind of started talking a little more shit instead?
Sorry.
Oh, I do have a favorite part. I have another one.
Go for it.
Real quick, end fight scene. Joe Marshall is storming the spaceship. Or whatever, wherever we are.
We literally don't know where any of the characters are at any given time.
I have no idea.
Have fun storming the castle.
Castle, spaceship, nightclub, who knows?
Somebody throws a Chinese star, and that Chinese star, he dodges it and catches it, slices that person's throat with it, and then throws it at Fujiyama for the kill.
Fujiyama.
I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know. I thought that was one of the moments I was like, a good idea. Nice.
True.
Nice.
Yeah.
My list of favorite parts is literally just Frank Washington, exclamation point.
Yeah.
I did like their little nod to Robert Zadar when that guy had a line about maniac cops.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Notice that. And also the fact that they also brought back the lion head that was in Jennifer's house. That was in multiple shots.
Yeah.
That was
that
pretty
in
good.
Joe's house?
I think that was her house. Oh, no, wait. This time around?
Yeah.
Yes, it was in his house. The original one, it was in Jennifer.
Jennifer's like apartment in the restaurant, I guess.
Yeah.
And the same actress played Jennifer and Melina.
Wait.
Melina?
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
Wait, it did?
Yes.
really?
Oh, really?
That's factual.
Now I'm very confused.
So is that why she dressed up to look blonde so that she could look like Jennifer to, like, manipulate him?
I don't know.
Then that would make sense.
That's what I assumed.
Would it though?
Well, no, that would at least have a progression of like thought. Like, oh, this happened, for that happens, till that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize it was the same person either. So.
I'm done trying to crack this case.
All right, let's rate it then. So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
Yeah,
fuck
I'm gonna
you.
have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking father.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck yeah! All right, let's rate Samurai Cop 2 Deadly Vengeance, guys.
Go fuck yourself.
Okay, Tyler's coming right out of the gate.
I'm never watching this again.
No?
No, never. I'll watch the first one at any time you guys ever want to, but I'm never, ever, ever watching Samurai Cop 2 ever, 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 ever again.
No, what do you give Samurai Cop 1 real quick?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, so that gets a fuck yeah, and this gets a straight go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. I just it made my head hurt, like my heart hurt a little bit too. I mean, it had very little redeeming quality.
I can buy that.
Leave it at that.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I will give it a standard fuck off. I didn't think it was terrible enough to warrant a fuck you, even though it was convoluted and made absolutely no sense. And I feel like pretty much detracted from everything that was likable about the first one. But I might recommend it to somebody based on absurdity and Tommy Wiseau alone.
All right. That makes sense. I think...
I was just going to say, I respect them enough for liking this movie to want to, make more of it, but it wasn't really more of it. It wasn't really my cup of tea.
Yeah, I can agree with that, because I'm also going to give it a fuck off, because I don't think I'm passionate enough about it to say fuck you. I don't think I wouldn't, if somebody was with me and wanted to watch it, I don't think I would say don't or no or ugh, I'm leaving. I wouldn't do that. I would
probably say no, I really don't want to watch that.
That's what I would say.
I would enjoy the movie.
I'd say watch it when I go home.
I definitely wouldn't, if there was a some form of double feature or something, I wouldn't shy away from that. So, I mean, a fuck off, just because I don't think that it really pulled me either way, and that sometimes is worse than a fuck you.
I feel like if somebody maybe didn't see the first Samurai Cop and just watched this, they might like it a lot more.
Yeah, I guess, because we've watched Samurai Cop a lot.
Yeah, and then especially watching Samurai Cop today and then immediately watching this after, I feel like the contrast is so easy to see.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure.
The same way a lot of people love Wolf Cop, and we really didn't.
Eric?
Yeah, I'm giving it a fuck you.
Okay.
I don't know. It just it reeked of everything that's bad about kickstarted projects, where it feels like there's too many chefs in the kitchen. It doesn't really have a clear
too many cooks.
Adult Swim, no.
There's no clear direction, no clear theme or style. It's just all over the place. It's crazy, wacky, banana crazy time. A bunch of people paid $1,500 to be in the movie, and they're going to be wildly not fit in with how the movie should really seem. I don't know. It just left me with a really bad taste in my mouth. Especially after you've said we've watched the original Samurai Cop at least a dozen times, if not more.
More.
And they went through the trouble to get all of a good chunk of the original cast. And they did a spectacular job. This has nothing to do with the original cast returning. They were great.
Yeah.
There's definitely script problems here, if there even was a script.
was.
The theme was just awful. It did not feel right at all. The presentation was weird. It feels like they should have taken a step back and said, okay, we're making Samurai Cop 2, right, guys? Doesn't need to be that complicated. Just make it a simple, straightforward project. You shoot your scenes and you make your movie. It doesn't need to be this complicated.
Yeah, a lot of layers.
We didn't need all these self-affirming hallucination / dreams from Joe Marshall.
Yeah, that's
telling him that he needs to be a samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what I tuned in for. I don't know.
Don't need anything this complex, for sure.
I felt like it was just poorly written.
Yeah, I think if I had never seen the original Samurai Cop, I might be on board with you guys and giving it a mediocre rating.
Yeah.
It's the same vein as maybe Kung Fury. I was yeah, it was okay. I laughed. But
yeah, I'm I don't know if their motivation or their goal was to make something like Samurai Cop 1 or to just do like their own thing with it, inspired by Samurai Cop 1. So that's where I don't really know where to stand.
Well, I don't think that was evident in their picture.
Exactly. That's
like I mean, the only way we could ever know what they were thinking is if we asked them, because what their vision was doesn't make sense to me for this movie. Like it was just a lot of just off the board stuff. Didn't come together.
The writing.
Yep.
How do you just start writing a storyline like the plane scene and then not finish it? Like have no clear resolution.
You know what it reminds me of?
Just let it meander into obscurity.
So when me and Tom were growing up, we had this program for Windows 95 called 3D Movie Maker. And this was a program where you would drag around like 3D actors who had about 20 polygons attached to them, and you would make these shitty little movies with like a bunch of prefab resources. And we would like download movies off the internet made by like these weird deviants that were probably like maybe 16 years old
at the time. We looked up to them.
They were adults to us.
Yep.
And the movies all had vibes like this movie, like it's just like weird scenes that just wouldn't go anywhere and had no comedy whatsoever. We thought it was hilarious because we were like 12.
Yeah, if that.
And just plot threads that wouldn't resolve themselves or would just like start and immediately end. And it just comes off as amateur.
Yeah.
And when they had this much fund, like when they had this much of a budget like provided to them by the Kickstarter, and they had all of these returning cast members who clearly have some sort of talent and love for the craft.
Yep.
It's a little upsetting.
Yeah. I think one more thing for me that I think this movie may have done, and I could be wrong, but they used the first one as like a crutch or an excuse to do something poorly.
Yeah.
So that they were like, well, that it's supposed to be like the first one, but then they did these other things that were wildly just as far away from the first one as possible. But anytime that something else had gone wrong, they were just like, well, we can just chop it. We can just hack it up in the editing room, make it look like the first one, make it look bad.
Yeah.
Like
they still didn't do that,
and they still didn't do it right. And I don't think that's the right way they should have been channeling the first one. If that, I mean, like I said, I don't know if that actually happened, but it may have happened. Happened.
I forgot to mention one character that I hated so much.
Okay, who's that?
The guy that Joe Marshall was fighting at the end, who's like, I guess next in line.
Oh, that stupid guy,
the guy
kept
who was
yelling,
just screaming in Japanese.
Yeah.
I wanted someone to punch his face off.
I don't get, like, that has to be some anime gag that I don't get.
Yeah.
It was just
really
like
to that.
Neck muscles bulging, like face roiling red, and everything he said was a scream from the pit of his soul.
That was terrible. He was awful.
He was
terrible.
so bad. I hated him.
Sorry about that, guys.
I had to mention him. Sorry.
So that final thoughts. Any more final thoughts then? Anything real quick?
No.
You guys want to mention?
No. Disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little disappointing. And so I think coming up in our near future is Deadliest Prey, which is the sequel to Deadly Prey. So kind of the same timeline, wherein I think Deadly Prey was 1987, came out in 2013 with Deadliest Prey. I would like to see how that movie did it, because
I have hope for that.
I do
Since
too.
The same person wrote it.
Same person directed it. I think it has a lot to do with it, of maintaining the integrity of those original characters.
And we had discussed briefly on the drive back to the house what the tone of this movie would be, because I had at least seen some reviews, and then some people had said that it's really good, and they were fans of Samurai Cop, and they're fans of Samurai Cop too. And I was kind of wondering if this movie would catch the same vibe, and if the director would have taken he would try to adopt Amir Shervan's way of making a movie. Like he would do like a method directing type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's clear that that didn't happen here. But like you said, I think that might play out to why Deadliest Prey is pretty well respected from what I understand, because it was directed by the same people. It has the same vibe. And I wonder if they could have attempted the same thing here, even though it wasn't the same director.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. That's always tough, because I feel like it's almost unfair to a point, because if they had gone too far the other direction,
we wouldn't say, they just made the same movie again.
You can complain about it that way too,
Right.
but it's finding the happy medium, which they didn't hit.
Yeah.
So if that's it, guys, that's it. We can wrap ourselves up here.
I think that's it.
All right, that's it.
We'll see you next week, Tyler.
Okay, great. We watched Samurai Cop 2 Deadly Vengeance from 2015.
Deadly Invention.
Deadly Inventions. or 2016.
All these crazy contraptions. What the hell is this?
It's a chain, Frank.
We, I think we were a bit disappointed overall as Samurai Cop fans, and as a new Samurai Cop fan in Tyler.
Yep.
Also, I think the most disappointed.
Yeah, I probably was. It was
very
because
upset.
you guys really my expectations were pretty low for the first one. Maybe if my expectations were lower for the second one, I wouldn't give it a. But I just watched the first one and fell in love. So what are you gonna do?
It's true. It'll do that to you.
It's true. If you'd like more information on Second Class Cinema, go to Facebook, facebook.com/Second Class Cinema. You can listen to our episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, secondclasscinema.com, and followingfilms.com. That's it.
All right.
Don't keep it
Hey,
warm.
what does katana mean?
It is
Japanese sword.
It means.
God damn it! This happened to me last time.
It means Japanese sword. You're too slow on the draw.
No,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's okay.
Keep it warm.
Keep it warm.